showtime!
What's up, world? It's your boss, Internationalzoe. Boy, did I have a hell of a day yesterday. So this is going to be story time. This is the Travel Gods 101. Okay. Now, when I was planning my trip here in Ecuador, it wasn't planned from home. I just thought, I'm in Lima, I'm next to another South American country, and just going to Tumbes and knowing that I was that close to Ecuador, it just started fueling me. And I was supposed to go to Ecuador maybe last year sometime when I was over here, but something happened and I ended up not going. I was actually supposed to go with my boy, not with, but meet Joshua, the brother from Barraca 49 in Brazil, in Copacabana, Rio. He's from Ecuador and he's from Guayaquil. And Guayaquil is one of those cities where they have a lot of black Ecuadorians. I haven't been there, but there are a lot of black Ecuadorians there. So, but I ended up not going. But I was like, I'm so close and I'm staying so long in Lima. Let me go to Ecuador for 10 days. You know, because that's what I usually try to do. If I'm in a country, go to a nearing country and get that off the bucket list. So I have this drawn out plan for the next 10 years of my travels. And 2026, I'm trying to finish all of South America. So I said, boom, this is a perfect opportunity. I already got like 4 or 5 perfect opportunities. There are 12 countries, so I was like, let me get through it. So I make my plan. I actually use ChatGPT to try and route my whole map out. So my ChatGPT had a whole long list of, you know, starting Quito, and from Quito go to Cuenca, or Baños. I end up going to Baños through a trip in Quito. Baños to Cuenca, and so on and so forth. Anyway, the beginning parts of my trip didn't work out as planned, but I did get to Quito, Baños, and also Cuenca. So I'm thinking, okay, my trip was mainly bus routes too. But my tour guide in Quito said, he was like, you don't want to take the bus from Quito to Cuenca. He said, it's a long ride. It's like 8 hours or so. He said, you probably want to fly. I was like, you're right, it's 8 hours. I'm going to fly. So I flew in, right? So I'm thinking, because my laid out plan was to go from Quito to Guayaquil and then Guayaquil to Montanita, but it didn't all make sense because when I flew into Quito, I got a round trip ticket from Quito because the prices were a little high because also it was short notice flight trip. You know, I didn't plan on coming to Ecuador while I was in Lima. So I also have experienced on a few occasions that when you go into a country, when you get to the airport to go to that country, sometime at the airport they ask you, where's your return ticket? And so I just got the return ticket from Quito because I didn't, you know, this was short notice and I tried to put it all together as soon as I could. So I got the return ticket from Quito, which didn't really make sense at the time, now that, you know, I've done what I've done. So anyway, I noticed that everything else on my plan was bus route. So I said, I'm gonna take the bus from Cuenca to Montanita and then take the bus from Montanita to Guayaquil. And I bought a ticket from Guayaquil back to Quito to go back to Lima. I know it's a long story, but let me just break it down to you because it needs to be broken. Okay, now you get an idea. So the day before I'm leaving Cuenca, I find out where the bus station is. I take a taxi over to the bus station to try and buy my ticket. When I get to the bus station, it's around 11:30. I finally find the window because there's like 10 different bus, you know, people selling tickets. It's like 10, 15 different booths. And it's only the one booth because everybody I'm asking, they're like, no, it's that booth that sells the ticket to Montanita. I get to the booth and it's closed. It's closed because they only open from the hours of 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then they open up again, I think, at 4 or 5 a.m. So I'm like, damn, I took a trip over here. I was trying to be proactive and I'm trying to find this information about the bus. A terminal is Libertad Peninsula. That's the one you need if you come in this way. Anyway, so I go back. So the next morning I get up, I say, well, now since I know they open from 8 to 10, let me get to the station around 9:30, get my ticket and try and get like a 12 o'clock bus to Montanita. I get there around like 9:15 or whatever, 9:30 to buy a ticket. I tell them I want a ticket to Montanita. Okay, give me your ID, passport, give them draw up the ticket. The ticket is $16 for the bus ride. So I give her the money. No, I give her my card, my Wise card. She says they don't take credit cards. Now, I usually travel with like $1,000 or so mixed in, maybe like $600 bills and then 2 and 20s and 1 and 10. So I had change throughout this trip. Now, mind you, I'm at day like 6 or whatever. So I give them the 100. She said, we don't have change, Mind you, she don't speak English. She's like, we don't have change. So I go back. I saw when I entered the terminal, they had about 10 different ATM machines from different banks, and it's like 10 of them. Honest to God, it's like 10 of them. So I try out about 8, not one of them. I try my Wise card, I try my TD Bank card. They will not give me money. Denied. So and mind you, the security guard is the one who's trying to help me because I asked him, do they got a place Cambio? And he was like, no, ATM. So then he said, you need to go to the bank. He said, the Guayaquil Bank down this way, mind you, that's like 2.5 blocks. And I got my suitcase and my heavy ass backpack with my laptop, my cameras, my this, my that. There's another bank over here. I forgot the name, but it's further. So I walk to Guayaquil Bank. When I get up to the bank, I can see they got chains on the doors closed. But there's an ATM. I go up to the ATM. The ATM is out of service. So now I drag my backpack back past the terminal. Okay, so that's another 2.5 blocks. And then I'm going down to the direction he said the other bank is. So I walk about 3.5 blocks. And then I see maybe a bank across the street, and I'm like, and it's a highway, mind you, so there's only certain places you can cross. So then I see a gas station. I go in there, go to the ATM in the gas station. I'm able to take out $50. I got a 10 and 2 20s. Cool. From there, I go back to the terminal, another 3.5 blocks. I'm hot now. I got my jacket on and everything. I got my bag pulling in my backpack. Get there, she's almost about to close the joint down. She's like, oh. So she already threw away my ticket. She said, I need your passport again. I mix my ticket, and then I'm sitting there because she tells me there's only a bus at 4 and a bus at 11:30 at night. And I'm like, there's no other buses, no bus at 12, no bus at 1. No, that's it. So mind you, I checked out my hotel already, and it's like 11. It's 11 o'clock. So I got 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 hours before I can get on the bus. I sit there for a little while, a little bit frustrated. I'm also frustrated because I had my headphones on, and my iPod case, headphones case and charger fell out my pocket in the taxi. So I'm there trying to contact Uber to get my thing back, and it was difficult, and mind you, I didn't get it back. So I'd sitting there for about 20 minutes. I'm like, F, man. I go back to the hotel. San Juan Hotel, shout out to that San Juan Hotel. They were kind enough to let me. Said, no problem, leave your bags here. Do it. So I leave my bags there. I go to get something to eat in a little like town square. I make the live when I tell y'all a little bit about this story. But I didn't get to the other parts. So I sit there for like 2 hours, go back. I got an hour left. I edit a video, the ones you guys seen yesterday about Get Off Columbia's pause. So I head to the bus station at 3 because it's traffic, it's a little bit steep, and Cuenca. Get to the bus station like 3:15, 3:30, you know, figuring that out, looking at, okay, in line number 19, bus 38. Okay, I wait like 30 minutes, the bus comes, I put my, you know, of course I'm leery because people like, be careful with the bus. The bus driver got a remote, so he put the people who was getting off first in this side, the container, luggage rack, then he put my boot, he hit the remote, the luggage thing closed, so I feel secure. I get on the bus. Now when I get on the bus, it's not a lot of people, it's maybe about 12 people on the bus that seats probably like 30 people. So I'm getting older, you know, not too long ago I had like a bladder infection, and trust me, my bladder has never been the same. And this happened like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. So my bladder still has been like a little bit tender. Now I understand why older people always go into the bathroom before they leave, always got to stop. Shout out to Jarvis. When I used to travel with him or be with him, he always had to go to the bathroom. And my mom's and certain people, I'd be like, and I mind you, I'm a person that could hold my bladder for hours if I had to go to the bathroom. Like I could sleep through it. Anyway, I feel a little bit, so I try and go to the bathroom on the bus. The bathroom on the bus has a lock on it. So I'm like, okay, maybe, I'm always thinking positively, maybe they got it locked until they leave because they probably don't want people coming on the bus, using the bathroom, getting off the bus and leaving. So I said, okay. The bus takes off, whatever, you know, I forget about it for a while, try to listen to music, nod off for a little while. But I still feel it, you know, I still feel it. Then I noticed that the lock never comes off the bathroom. And I'm like, damn, well, they gotta stop sometime soon. You know, normal trips, you go on tours, they're always making these stops. Mind you, it took 4 hours for him to make the first stop. And boy, I was literally, for the last 5 minutes, be like, I'm gonna have to walk up to him and tell him I gotta use the bathroom. So we pull in, there's a little spot, side of the road. People start ordering food, using the bathroom. So I said, all right, I'm gonna order some food. Ordered the food, got some rice and chicken with a little bit of you know how Spanish salad ain't really. So I get it, they give me a little something to drink. I only drink a little bit because I just relieve my bladder. I go back in the bathroom and try to pee again before I get back on the bus, but I'm not able to. Okay. I asked the bus driver, because for my research, I was like about 4 hours, 5 hours, you know. I said, how much longer? He says 4 hours longer. I'm like, God damn. If I would have known it was an 8-hour trip, I would have flown. I would have just bit the bullet and flown, right? So I'm like, damn. Mind you, it's like 7 o'clock. I'm like, damn, we're not gonna get there till like 11, whatever. Get back on the bus. Another 3 hours later, he make a stop, and the first group of people, almost all of them get off except me and another guy. So I'm like, it's like 11 then, right? So then he lets this group of like Ecuadorians on, like they look like they was like from the hood and shit. They was making a lot of noise. They was moving around, fidgety kids, grown up people sitting behind me, sitting in front of me. You know what I'm saying? And they were eating like potato chips and stuff, had the bus smelling. So the next stop, he lets them off. Like, I guess right in Montanica, because they start saying, we love Montanica when we get there. So he like, you gotta get off here too. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I look at the thing and it's like, where I'm going is another 32 minutes from here. He's like, oh, it's far. He's like, you're gonna have to catch a taxi. I'm in the middle of nowhere, it feels like. Dark streets, maybe one bar, small bar across the street, but I'm like, yo, dogs. I look at the Uber, no Ubers. So he helps me, he flags down a taxi. And he asked the guy, how far is it, how much it costs, and he said $10. So the old taxi driver was like, $20. Mind you, 3 taxis didn't stop for me already. So I said, all right. And I'm looking, I got the address. Mind you, there is absolutely nothing but road and forests on my left and right for the 30 minutes. And it's like this. And he's driving like 60 miles an hour around these turns and it's pitch black. And I'm like, oh my God. But, you know, I was feeling strange even during the beginning of the ride. I literally riding when we left Cuenca and got out of there. You're driving straight up, you're driving up in the mountains. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fog, you could barely see. One road, one traffic going this way and traffic going that way. Slow. We up in the Andes Mountains, altitude, my ears are, I mean, the whole ride was crazy. I finally, and mind you, the people at this hotel are like, cause I tell them, first I thought I would be checking in around 2. Then I told them I'd be checking in around 6, 7. And then they're like, are you okay? What happened to you? And then I'm like, the bus ride was longer than I expected. I should be there around 11. I get here at 1 a.m. in the morning. And nobody's here. I called a lady. I guess I woke up, but she was trying to stay up for me. She opened the door. She showed me my space. And mind you, the place is beautiful. Kitchen, beachfront. It's just a shame. And so basically, and this place wasn't cheap. And one other thing I forgot to tell you, I don't know if I said it already, because this is a long story. The hotel I booked was Kundalini. Well, I wanted to book, that was referred to me, was Kundalini. That's actually in Montanita. I couldn't get that one. So I booked another one. And they said, you cannot book this by accident. So I had to get on the phone with Booking, and they said, pick another one, we'll pay the difference. Everything was booked in Montanita, basically. I didn't know that this was 30 minutes from Montanita. I thought this was in Montanita. So, you know, the place is beautiful, but there's nothing but, you know, this is called the guest house, and everything looks the same. But I looked on my Google Maps for the 2 hotels that I was supposed to be at, and they're 30 minutes away. So that means they were closer to where the bus dropped me off in Montanita. So I missed the whole day here. I missed the whole Saturday. When I got here, I ain't hear no music, there ain't no partying. It was nothing but pitch black. So I'm here, and I have to go back 30 minutes to that bus station tomorrow to catch a bus to Guayaquil. It was just, you know how you have this burning like nervousness inside? You know, I had that the entire day from the beginning of the morning when things just were not going right. And I literally said to myself, when I go back to this terminal to buy this ticket, if that window was closed, I'm going to the airport and taking the next flight back to Quito, and I'm gonna just stay my ass in Quito until the 22nd, until it's time for me to go home. So I don't know why God still wanted me to come here, but I would come back here with a female, because it is very nice and calm, and you could relax and have a few days with your loved one and just be in this water. It's really a surfing town, it looks like, but this place, I'm probably show y'all some clips, it's a beautiful place, and it's nice and calm. And I had breakfast, the breakfast was delicious, and it was just a crazy day that could have been avoided. And I did try to avoid it. I even was telling people on my live, I'm taking a bus to Montanita. Nobody said, nah, that's 8 hours, dog. So maybe that's why ChatGPT told me to go to Guayaquil from Cuenca, because it probably was way more bus options, way more time options, and it was probably 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours short of a distance. But you live and you learn. So, you know, that's the Travel God's Journey story time, Internationalzoe. I know that was long-winded. It was 20 minutes. Peace, stay tuned. Ecuador.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?